Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Not Your Mother's History Class. I'm Sydney.
I'm Caleb.
And we are married, and we are deciding to do our first podcast together, so this should be fun.
Yes, it will.
Yeah? You excited?
Very excited.
I'm excited. Yeah. So Not Your Mother's History Class is going to be pretty much what it sounds like. It is going to be us covering facts that you probably did not learn in school. Whether that be because it was disturbing and just not something that children should be learning, or just because not many people know about it, like in general. So you might hear disturbing things, you might hear gross things, you might hear just straight up bizarre, unbelievable things. So, regardless of what you're going to hear, we will make sure to always give trigger warnings, because if it's regarding anything that is super sensitive, we will be sure to let everyone know. But yeah, I am ready to get into this.
Let's do it. Let's start.
So I think we're going to start off pretty easy today. We're just going to do a quick little discussion about a very, very bizarre thing that happened during the Civil War and 58 years following the Civil War.
Yes, it's a very long story.
Caleb, do you want to kick us off? I guess trigger warning for this story would be guns and...
gunshot wounds.
Gunshot wounds. And also, I mean, there's a bit of graphic description, I guess.
It's not,
depending on how you would define that. Yeah, definitely dealing with guns. So if that's sensitive or something that might upset you, I would not listen any further. So just fair warning. But let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. You go ahead. Caleb's going to kick us off.
Yes. So our story starts in Alabama, where...
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Not Alabama.
Yes.
Okay.
A Confederate soldier by the name of Willis Meadows was shot in the right eye by a Union sniper.
Yikes.
Surprisingly, he survived, and he was subsequently captured by Union soldiers and taken to a hospital, where the doctors had, a really hard time finding the bullet that hit him. It didn't come out, because obviously he was still alive, but they just kind of bandaged him up and kept him in jail.
Sucks for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 58 years later, it's a very long story, he was having a coughing fit, and he spit out the bullet that landed in his skull.
Oh, God.
58 years later.
That is...
It's insane.
Really gross, first of all, because imagine, where that bullet was traveling inside of his head. Yeah. And then it just... Imagine just having a coughing fit and getting shot might not be even anywhere in your mind anymore. And then you spit out that bullet. That's fucking disgusting, actually. Yes. But pretty cool if you think about it, because at least he had some kind of closure about, where did it go?
Right.
But, oh my God, 60 years. That's a whole lifetime. Almost a whole lifetime.
He was an old man by then, yes.
Old. And another thing was that it made headlines when it was in 1921. I mean, that's how far... Yeah. That's how long after. In 1921. And Union veteran Peter Knapp read about it in these headlines, and he figured out that it was him that shot Meadows.
He was the Union sniper that shot him.
Yep, because he had a distinct memory of shooting that guy in the eye, and I think he probably just thought the man died. I mean, who in the hell survives a gunshot wound to the eye? But yeah, no, he was still alive, and he found out. I think I'm going to take a pause right here and preface that just between now and any episode we ever do, we have 2 cats. And so they're either going to make an appearance by our feet or up by our heads, or you're going to hear them fighting, or you're going to hear them messing with something. So just be prepared for that one. There is nothing we can do about it.
Absolutely nothing.
We can't lock them out. They would not tolerate that at all. So yeah, Peter Knapp, he wrote to him and wrote to Meadows, and eventually the two of them actually met up.
They met up and discussed just their lives up to that point. I don't know if they...
oops,
if
sorry,
he apologized.
Bro. Sorry, I didn't mean to... I mean, I did mean to, but, sorry, I'm glad you're alive, I wonder how awkward that was, if at all.
I would have loved to hear about that conversation.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I think it's so crazy that not only that this man survived... There's so many things that are crazy about this. He survived being shot in the eye.
In the eyeball.
Ugh.
I do not know how you survived that.
No. Without modern medicine. So
Yes, yeah.
he survived that. He survived not good medical care. He
Nope.
survived so long
Yeah.
with that bullet somewhere in his body. I'm surprised that no crazy infection, like, took him out because of that. But anyway, and then the guy that literally shot him found out, like, oh, that was me.
Right.
Surprise. And then, I feel like there's probably a lot more to this, but we want to kind of keep it brief just especially for our first episode. But in 2012, a long, down the line relative of Peter Knapp, the Union soldier that shot Meadows, discovered the story, and they were probably just as shocked as we were to hear about that, and decided to find his burial place. But, surprise, he was never buried.
No.
So, and this is 2012, so this is fairly recently, even though that was 11 years ago.
Reality check.
Yeah. But it turns out that his ashes were never buried, and no one knows why. No one knows why they were not ever buried. Apparently his ashes were still in a crematorium, just chilling there. Yeah.
And his wife's were both in a crematorium in Oregon, just no
chilling.
One knows why. Lost to history.
But yeah, so that long down the line, I was going to say long lost, but they're not lost. She's just, ancestor.
Yeah, ancestor.
There we go. That's the word. Ancestor. So this ancestor decided to try to find him, and because of her finding out that he was never buried, bless you, my cat sneezed, because she found out that he was never buried, he ended up officially being the last Civil War veteran to ever be laid to rest in 2012.
What? That is
amazing.
Insane.
Yeah, and in Oregon, apparently, he was buried in Oregon.
Yeah.
We don't know. I assume that Willis Meadows had like a normal burial.
Maybe not with this story. I don't know.
I don't know. We didn't see anything about that, whether or not he was buried properly or not. But everything about that story is just so bizarre. Right down to like the person that shot him not being buried until 2012, technically. Oh God. Yeah. So that is definitely a very, very wild one.
It's a doozy.
But yeah, we plan to kind of do this with every episode. We're either gonna fit one or two bizarre, disturbing-ish facts from history into every episode. And today's is gonna be a little short, but we do plan to make them longer in the future. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool that Caleb and I both agreed on this topic. The second we thought of it, we were like, that's the one.
I just love this story.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I just mean for the podcast.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The topic for the
topic
podcast
is also great.
Yeah. The fact today was cool. But yeah. We're really excited to get through this. Not get through this. Like
continue this.
But continue this.
Yes.
And yeah, we hope you join us next time. We're going to be hopefully on Spotify, TBD. Don't know. Definitely on YouTube. If you're watching us, welcome. This is our home.
Hello.
If you are just listening to us, then cool. But, be sure to watch us next time, too. We're going to have these on YouTube so you can actually physically see us. And this has been the first episode of Not Your Mother's History Class with Sydney and Caleb. Thank you for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time.